Hi, my name is Karen Martinez, and I currently work for Education Minnesota. I used to work as an organizer and am now a field office assistant within Rochester. I identify with the BIPOC women of Rochester. I've learned that we all come from many different backgrounds and experiences, that we each face different challenges. Within this group, within this co-design, we can help one another and the community in what we're trying to achieve with BIPOC women. And not just the BIPOC community, but also the employer side, the challenges that they have in trying to employ BIPOC women. Although my parents immigrated to the U.S. back in the 70s, the challenges are different in Rochester, and they're different today. There's a lot higher expectations of things that you need to know and need to do to be able to gain a job in this area, and I think that's one of the things that really surprised me. Language barriers or you have skills that you've developed but you can't pursue because of XYZ, and so kind of identifying those things for employers so that we can come full circle and connect people. And I think that's the key there, is to connect others. The mentorship piece for BIPOC community women is key and important to develop what we're looking for within this co-design. And one of the things that we can do is connect education, connect employers, connect all these things so that we do have a pathway into this work. That's one of the things that really shined for me, and I think it's a great thing.
My name is Jose Rivas. I am president of CRW Architecture and Design Group. It's a Rochester-based architecture and interior design firm. I identify with a community of employers. You know, I didn't really know what to expect when the co-design process started. I thought it had to do more with the actual construction of buildings. It was a little bit different, or it took a little time for me to find my place as a representative of an employer group in the design side. What I learned, and I think one of the biggest things I learned, is that the misconceptions that there are around construction and the built environment. You know, I'm able to broaden the perspective for some of the other participants in the co-design process about the many other branches, let's say, that there are on the construction tree, but also the biases that exist from the construction side towards, for example, women, and specifically women of color, that, you know, that there might be cultural differences or religious differences that prevent them from participating in the process, which is really not true. You can't dictate solutions to a problem that you have not heard the perspective from all who are participating and all who are affected. So that's been huge, I think.
My name is Wafa Al-Khalifa, and I currently work as an equity specialist for Rochester Public Schools. I associate myself with the Sudanese community in Rochester because I'm Sudanese American, but I also associate myself with the Muslim community, the African community, and I'm connected very well with the Somali community that we have in Rochester too. What I have learned from others is sharing different perspectives. Sometimes if you're just consumed within your own community and isolated, you don't get to hear about the other ways of thinking. That what makes it great too, because I was sharing other perspectives too, that it could be new for other communities as well. When I think of construction, I think that a very male-dominant field where maybe rarely you would see females. Culturally speaking, from the cultures I associate from, you could see females, but in specific fields, but not all the fields within the construction. You could see them in architecture, you could see them in interior design, or you could see them in the finance aspect of it, or banking, for example. but opening the door for more women, and especially women, BIPOC women, to participate in this project in the construction field will open the way for women to share their perspective and change this long historical industry that I am sure that it does have a lot of changes that we need to have done. I think this experience will open the door for both sides to change in terms of the BIPOC women to be accepting of new roles and challenge themselves, but also for the industry leaders and the construction industry as a whole to change, to be accepting more for more women. I think the outreach efforts to community leaders to change or break any taboos, the communities, the underserved communities that we have in Rochester, that's something I thought of and I shared in the co-design, and I think it's really needed because this is where we always end up having the same perspectives and not being inclusive enough. By not including the opinions or the input of community leaders from the different communities that we have in Rochester and make Rochester today. So having the leaders' input by creating different ways of our outreach efforts will change a lot of taboos in different communities that we have. For us to create a change, we should really think of, do we have every voice really in decision making? I think that's very important. We need to think of becoming more inclusive. We should think of the demographics that we have in Rochester, having a true representation. If the number is accurate, 20% I think of the Rochester population is minorities. And if any institution would consider that in decision making, we would definitely create a better Rochester and better community.
My name is Nick Willey. I'm a business rep with the Carpenters Union here in Rochester, and the group that I identify with would be tradespeople. I've learned quite a bit. I've learned that there are a good majority of BIPOC people that want to be involved in the trades. Prior to this, I wasn't, you don't see them very often or hear from them very often, or at least from their communities. And being involved in this has been eye-opening and enlightening and encouraging. The assumption I had was there wasn't very many women or even BIPOC women seeking, careers in the building trades. I've learned the opposite of that, and it's nice to see because we need them within the trades, and our contractors want to employ them, and it's good to find a place to meet and talk about it and figure out a way to implement a strategy and implement a way to have more involvement from the BIPOC population, and hope to get there. Taking the time to put together a process and a program that has the mentors on both sides, right? The ones in the field, the ones on the outside, I guess we'd call them, or there's also the observers, right? So those folks are what I think is going to make a big difference in this, and the ideas we talked about in the room were good, and I think that without getting together and putting together a process and a plan, hard to do something without a plan, a blueprint, right? And I think getting together and putting together a good blueprint and revising it, and now it's just time to work the plan. I think the contractors of Rochester are ready for this. Look forward to the work and what it brings.
My name is Violet Magoma. I joined construction because I'm from Kenya, Africa, and it's not so many women who are into construction. See, I was like, this is something I should do, because they were giving a grant through MindDOT, and it was focusing on women of color. I said, well, I think I should go try this, and the training went for 4 weeks. Learned a lot about construction. There's people I couldn't have met if I didn't join here as the co-designer. You can't know it until you come out, like opportunities for a job, and I was able to meet the mayor. People from different minorities coming together. It's like where we come from, any kind of job. We have people from different backgrounds and we learn a lot from them. So I think it was a good experience and it made us ready for the next step, ready for job openings. I think the process was good. Time was limited, but we have to know how to manage time because anywhere we go to work, it's about time, time to clock in. So I think everything was good.
Aaron Beneke, the president of Beneke Construction, and the community I identify with is the commercial construction industry. I learned that I shouldn't listen to the narrative that's going on in my head because those are just assumptions. I should just ask people questions and learn from them and not assume things. So in my community, the ability to get a lot of physical labor done has a high value. Folks that are able to get a lot of work done are respected, in demand, in positions of prominence. And I learned that not every culture has that same view of physical labor. People feel like that's maybe their only option, and it feels forced and isn't necessarily as sought after as it is for some of the folks that are already in my community. There's several reasons why this is different, and it's the reasons why I am more confident than I've ever been before that this is really going to make a difference. First, the co-design process has reached out into other communities, and I've never been a part of a process that's really done that in a robust way before. We've talked before that commercial construction just needs a lot of help, and we needed even more help than I thought that we needed. I think that we're getting the help that we need in order to really make the changes that we need to make, because successful teams often allow each other foul balls. And not that they ignore them, but they allow them. But we don't often allow foul balls for folks that aren't already on our team. We're going to need a lot of foul balls both ways to make sure that this works.